everybody, and welcome back to Mr. Smith's YouTube channel. So we are working through orthographic drawings. Last video, you guys were given a bracket, and you were asked to do the top, front, and side view of that bracket. I went through the demonstration in the video. I've received some of your work. Be honest, some of you guys forgot what this is. Guys, the expectation is that you use a ruler or engineering scale or some type of straight edge. It can be the side of a book, but you need to use a straight edge. Your lines need to be straight. All right, that's one of the important things we're learning here. In no professional setting are lines crooked. Are they squiggly? Are they just, if you can't use a ruler, you need to come find me in the school and let me teach you how. All right, so moving on. We're going to be working on a new drawing called a locating guide. A lot of the same techniques we used last time will be used in this one. We're going to sketch out a semicircle, and we're going to center our drawings. So let's jump right into it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing this object in an orthographic view. So we're going to have the top, we're going to have the front, and we're going to have the side. All right, so at this point, you should have a blank, all right? You should have a blank title block. If you don't, then you need to make one. Then once you've made your title block, make sure you label your period. So for example, in my class, it would be A4 manufacturing. Let's say you're in the construction class. This would be A2 construction, maybe B3 construction. All right, in here is gonna be your title. Just call it ortho locating guide. Then you need your name. And then you need your scale, which again, we're going to say that 1 square is equal to, or 1 square is equal to 10. If you take a look at the drawing, we don't know what units. So we don't know if this is 10 centimeters, 10 millimeters, 10 feet, 10 meters, 10 miles. All right, so we're just going to say 10 because it does not indicate. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to create boundaries to center our drawing. So I'm going to start with the side view. And if you remember from last time, the vertical number of squares you have here, so up and down, is 14. And the horizontal number of squares is 20. All right, that's important to remember so that you can remember exactly how to center. All right, so if we take a look at this drawing, we're actually going to stand in this corner and be looking at it. So our side view or our right view is if we're standing here looking at the object. So we're going to see this rectangle, and we're going to see this little side of the rectangle here. So this guy, and also this guy. All right. So let's start drawing that. Here, I can actually make this a little bigger for us today. All right. So we are going to start with our center boundaries. So if you take a look at the drawing, you will see that the left to right of the drawing, or of the model, is actually 38, all right? 38 plus this 12, all right? So 38 plus this 12, 38 plus this 12. So our width is 50. So I know that I need 5 squares once it's in the middle. I have 20. 20 minus 5 is 15. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So I need to come in 7.5 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. And I need to come in 7.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. All right, so that's going to be the width of this. So vertically, let's look back at our drawing, or at our model. So our model, we see, okay, we have 25 for this little rectangle, 25, and then we have the 12 here. So that's 25 plus 10 is 35 plus 2 is 37. All right, so we know that we're going to have about 4 blocks. All right, so vertically in the middle, we'll need 4 blocks. So I do 14 minus 4 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So I need 5 on each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, Let me count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that'll be my vertical boundary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so this is not going to be, like, you can tell right now that using a scale of 1 square is 10, that this is not going to be very big. But we're going to keep rolling with it. So what is this going to look like? So last time I drew it out for you guys ahead of time, but if I'm thinking about the side view of this, all right, so I'm going to actually pull up paint. All right, the side view of this object, I am going to see a rectangle on the bottom, and then I'm also going to have like a little piece here. All right, so this is what we're headed towards drawing. So I need to draw this part first. So that part is 50, right? So luckily for us, we have already drawn in our boundaries. So I can actually extend this down and extend this down and connect those. So that should be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it is. Okay, so how tall is this? Well, if we take a look, here, it is 12 tall. 12 tall. So I'm going to go ahead and come up 1 square plus a little bit. Let's say that that's 12, and I'm going to connect it. All right, and we can actually come here and do 12 on this side. And then we're going to connect our 2 lines. Like so. All right, so I need to add my dimensions. All right, guys, make sure, I saw this on y'all's drawings from earlier this week. Some of y'all just forgot about the straight edge when you went to go do the dimension lines. Make sure that you keep using the straight edge. Okay, keep using it throughout the entire drawing. It kind of loses its effect if, you know, your drawing has straight lines, but then your dimensions do not. All right, I know mine's a little crooked there. Apologies, but I'm gonna keep rolling. All right, so now if you look back, all right, if we take a look back, we need to draw this rectangle here. All right, this rectangle here, which is this right here, this face right here. So to do that, how tall is that face? Well, it's 25. So I know from here, I need to go up 2.5 squares. So there's like 1 square, 2 squares. Oh yeah, we already set our vertical limit, didn't we? So I can actually connect the vertical limit here. You're welcome. I know.
We both enjoyed it.
I know, they're so good. So I've connected that line there. All right, now I need to know what the width of that is. So if I look up, it's 12. So I now need to come over 1 and a little bit. And again, actually I'm gonna go this way first. And like so. All right, so at this point, I can go in here, get rid of all these little extra markers I made for myself. And then I need to add the other dimensions. Add the other dimensions into this. So we had 12 and we had 25. And I think we're looking good. Right? Everybody agree? However, if you take a look at our drawing, from this view, you are going to see this circle as a hidden circle. All right, so we know that the diameter is 25. All right, so first let's mark the center of that circle. So the center of that circle is actually going to be in the center of this. All right, and we had 5 squares, so we need to go in 2.5. So that's 1 square, 2 squares, and then the middle will be right here. So you need to go ahead and mark your plus sign representing the center of the circle, like so. And then we know that the diameter is 25, so the radius is 12.5. So that means that I need to go over 1 square and a little bit. So 1 square and a little bit, 1 square and a little bit, and now I'm going to draw in hidden lines, which are dotted lines. When I looked at some of y'all's drawings, some of y'all just went ahead and threw some solid lines in there. Make sure they are dotted because they are hidden lines. All right, and then we need to dimension that circle, and we can just come out here like that and like this, and we can say that that is the diameter symbol, and it is 25. All right, and our side view is done. All right, so the cool part about this is now we can use that side view to work on our front view. So let's quickly review what a front view is. All right, so the front view is this arrow. So if you're standing in this corner looking at it, standing in this corner looking at it. So let's actually try to plan that. All right, so our front view. So our front view, we're gonna have a long rectangular looking thing like that. Then we're actually gonna have this one on top. And then there's actually, just pretend these are dotted lines, but somewhere in here is gonna be, okay, this is harder than I thought to draw dotted lines in paint. Okay, you get the idea, right? Okay, and then we'll have our plus sign there. All right, so it's gonna look something like this. All right, so let's get started. Now that we kind of have it in our mind what this is gonna look like. So we need to center this drawing. So the way that we center it is the same thing. All right, this is also 14 vertical and 20 horizontal, except now we need to do a little math. So if you take a look at this picture, we have 65 plus the radius of this semicircle is 25. So that'll be 90. This whole thing right here is 90. All right, so that means that we need 9 horizontal. And then what about the height? Well, we already have the height from our side view. So that's why it's so important to work on your side view, because you can already have the height. So check this out. I can actually go over here and mark the height from my side view. All right, in y'all's last drawing, a lot of y'all did not do this. All right, this was not lined up with this side, so it was very, very hard to tell what was going on. All right, so we have our vertical limit. Now horizontal, we have 20 squares, and we know that it's 90, so that's 9. So we do 20 minus 9 is 11. 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. So I'm gonna come in 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So I should be able to bring this down and bring this one down and draw a straight line. All right, and if I did this correctly, that should be 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whew. Smith is doing well today, y'all. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw in that dimension, just so y'all know that this is 90 all the way across. All right, so now we need to draw this part, but here. Well, guess what? We can use this line from our side view, all right, which was 12 up. So if I actually match this up across, I don't have to measure anything because we've already done it on our side view. Again, that's the power here, right? That's the power of orthographic drawing. They match up. All right, so we know that this is 12. So I'm going to add that dimension. So that is 12. All right, so now we need to work on this rectangle here. So we know how far up it goes because we've already set our limit. All right, so if I were to do that, then that should be 25. So that's 1, 2, and then a 5. All right, so it goes up 25. Now it goes 30 over, so I need to come in 3 squares. 1, 2, 3. All right. And then, so this should actually be at like the half mark. So I went a little long there, but all right. So just make sure that don't go too long. All right, check it out. Does it match up? Oh, they match up. Oh, starting to make sense, right? All our drawings should connect. All right, so now we just need to know where this hidden line is. So before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and add the dimensions for these. All right, so I'm gonna go in here and add a dimension. So that's 25. All right, need to add one up here. And that is 30. All right, so now in here, we need to put our hidden lines for our circle. So let's go back and take a quick look. Okay, so that circle has a diameter of 25. Diameter of 25. So that means that, well, hold on. First off, we know that the center point is 25 in because we have this radius is 25. The radius right here is 25 in, so that's our center point. So let's put that first. So if we come in 2.5, so there's a half. 1, 2. That's where our radius should be, is right here. All right, because we know that the radius is 25. All right, then the little circle, which is what we want to draw hidden lines for, its diameter is 25. So that means that we need to go over 12.5, which is 1 square and a little bit, and then 1 square and a little bit, and that's where we're going to put our hidden lines. All right, so I can go ahead and label this one more time, just to kind of, that's our diameter is 25. We could label, like we could label the fact that that is a radius 25. But I think up here we're actually going to have that a little more clear. All right, so again, guys, I mean, we're just, our drawings are centered. They match up, right? The heights are the same. All right, so now we need to start working on this top view. So let's quickly take a look at what a top view might look like. So if I go into Paint, I'm going to Control Z. All right. So this is our top view. And for the top view, what we are going to do is, oh wow, all right, top. What we're going to do is we're going to start with a big rectangle. All right, it's going to look like that. And then we're going to see this little rectangle. So if you're thinking about, like, if you're looking at the model, like we're standing on top of it looking straight down. All right, but then on this side, it's actually going to have a circle. And then I might need to make my eraser tool a little bigger. Maybe not. Okay, y'all get the idea. I'm kind of struggling a little bit here, but it would look like that, and then have a circle in here. All right, so our drawing is actually going to look something like this. Oh, and then of course the plus sign in the middle. So I always like to kind of visualize it before I actually do it. All right, so let's start. Again, to center this, we have 20 and 14. So what is going to be our distance this way? Well, guess what? We have it right here. All right, that's why we can use this drawing to find the width of our top view, because they're going to be the same. All right, so we know that that's the boundary, so now we just need the vertical boundary. So what is the entire width of this? What is the width of this? Well, we know that from there to there is 38, plus that 12 is 50. All right, so we're going to need, we're going to need 5 squares for the drawing. We have 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So our entire drawing should fit within this area. So let's go ahead and map off a rectangle. All right, because we know that it's going to be a rectangle, but one side is going to be a semicircle. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that in. Now, if I did this right, it should match up with that 50. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it does. All right, so even though I didn't measure that or even think about it, because I've used my other lines, it actually works out to be 50. All right, it's 5 blocks. So this is 50. All right, so this line, I'm going to draw it really light. All right, so I'm actually going to come down and put little markers. I'm going to draw it light because we're going to have to draw in that semicircle. All right, just kind of drawing a light line because it's going to change. All right, another light line. Okay. So at this point, I need to figure out this semicircle. So the center, look, we have the center of the semicircle already marked on this drawing. So we can just come up here and find the center. So that's 5, so I need 2.5. Half, 1, 2. So that center is going to be right there. All right, again, found that using my other drawing down here. And then this is 5, so I just counted in 2.5. All right, we know that our radius is 25. So that means that from this point to this point is going to be my semicircle. So I showed y'all this last time. Just kind of, you know, until I get y'all using compasses, just kind of sketch in the semicircles. Mine's kind of bougie. I'm gonna do that again. It was not looking clean. All right, so let me mark this again. All right, then I'm gonna come out and down. And then once I feel comfortable with it, I'm gonna darken it, come up and in. Then once I feel like it's pretty good, I'm gonna go ahead and darken it. Again, guys, semicircles don't have to be perfect. All right, so at this point, I can come back in and darken these lines just to shape this up a little bit. All right, so now we need a circle in here. All right, and we know that the diameter is 25, so I need to do 12.5 a little bit on each side. All right, so I'm gonna do that on all 4 sides. So that way I can work in my circle. Again, it's not gonna be perfect. We're just drawing in our circles ourselves. But check it out, like everything is matching. Those match up, those match up. Check it out, our hidden lines on that circle match up. That hidden line should match up. Our centers match up. All right, this is the power of orthographic drawings. All right, so the only thing we're missing is this little rectangle here. And I know that it's 12, so I'm gonna come down 10 in a little bit and mark. Now I gotta figure out how far in it is. Well, it's in 3 squares. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, so about right here. Now I just connect everything. So I'm gonna connect these, and I'm gonna connect this. All right, so again, check that out. It lines up again. Everything lines up. All right, that's how you do a proper orthographic. So I'm gonna come up here and add the dimensions to this drawing. All right, so this is 30. I'm gonna add this here. All right, so this is actually 12. And then the radius here. Well, this is the diameter is 25, and then from there to there, the radius is 25. All right, and at that point, we are done. All right, we are done. Our drawing is complete. We have orthographically drawn a locating guide. All right. So guys, please, 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 before you snap a picture and you turn this in, make sure that all your lines are dark, make sure they're straight. When you take your picture, make sure you're not taking your laptop. If you're taking a picture with your laptop, make sure you're not shaking the camera when you take it. If you're taking a picture with your phone, make sure you're not shaking your phone. Had a couple blurry pictures get turned in. But just make sure all your lines are straight. Make sure everything's lined up. Again, everything in the drawing should line up if it is done correctly. All right, so that's it for me today. Guys, I appreciate it as always. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I'll see you next time.